hard work they're doing and continue that work and encouragement. So there is envelopes, there is paper, there are labels on the water stations. So if you have time, take a moment, grab a piece of paper and a pen and label and get your letter out to Senator Thune. Thank you so much. Okay. Ready?
Julie, I need some more married women signs over here. If I can have your attention, please, we're about ready to start. If everyone could take their seats, we'd like to get your signs to you. And then, of course, our wonderful speaker will be coming up. So if there's extra, or if there's not enough seats and you're able to stand and we have some older people who'd like to sit, please be courteous of that. And thank you so much for coming to the Save America Act rally featuring Scott Presler.
Good morning, Rapid City. I think the Democrats turned up the heat. I think they did it on purpose, but no. We have AC pumping, it's getting nicer in here. We're not gonna let those gosh darn Democrats stop us from getting photo ID and proof of citizenship. And I tell you, these literally just got off the FedEx shipment, so God bless them. And what I'd like to do is we're about to kick off, but I want to get a video to go viral all over social media. And so I'm going to do a little video with your permission. I want you to hold up your signs, and especially I'm going to go to the ones too that say Senate. Are you guys paid influencers? Did anyone give you a check to be here today? No! Are you here because you love our country? Yeah! Okay, so now when I do this, because Chuck E. Schumer the other day, they were outside the Senate, and man, they just sounded so lethargic, and they were like, Jim Crow 2.0. Like, it sounded like they had just taken some sort of a downer. So, I need you guys to be super high energy. Yeah! Okay, now this is going to be seen by like millions, okay? So, no pressure. No pressure. Hey everybody, this is Scott Presler. I am here in Rapid City, South Dakota. Give credit where credit is due. I will give credit to our Senate that is working today on Saturday to advance the Save America. But peacefully and respectfully, Senate Majority Leader Thune, I say this with grace and with kindness. We are not paid. Majority in 2024. Yes! We gave them the White House. We gave them the Senate. We gave them the House. And we demand and expect results, and that means to save America. Rapid City to Sioux Falls, Senate Majority Leader Thune. We are asking you, advance this law, get it on President Trump's desk, and responsible for the most comprehensive election integrity reform legislation in American history. It's about to go everywhere. We're looking extra cute. Now, before I pass it over to Julie, I just want to give a shout out because we have some rock stars here in the audience. Number one, how many of you are South Dakota residents? How many of you are Wyomingites? Thank you. Now, this one over here, Ginger, is celebrating her birthday by being at a Save America And do we have Iowa here in the house? Do we have Idaho here at all? Nebraska. So thank you to everyone that has traveled far distances to be here. A lot of people thought this was going to fail. I even heard protesters were going to come, but guys, we already did our Fox News interview. We did a live hit, and there were no expletives, so if they tried, bless their hearts. Bless their hearts. So thank you. It's starting to get cooler now, but I would like to. I first came to South Dakota 4 years ago in 2022. I am not a stranger to Mount Rushmore, but I know that the western site is better than that. And say no other good words, but Julie Korth, she's a grassroots activist here, and for anyone that's new, for anyone that hasn't been involved before, please don't let this just be you come hear me and you feel so good and then you go home. I want this to be a day of action because the left, they are moving into your state. They are fleeing the states that they have corrupted and they have caused chaos, and then they come to freedom, God-loving, low tax, high entrepreneurship, and then they want to bring all of their lefty ideas. So no, we cannot ever allow South Dakota to become purple. We need every one of you to become an activist today. Will you commit to that? So I'd like to welcome, please, you give her the same respect you give me, the Scott Presler of Rapid City, Julie Korth. No, notice I very graciously, I come down.
I have a great shot the last time Scott was here. I was standing up on top of the stage, and Scott was on the ground, and he was literally the same height as me. So he is incredible. I want to thank Scott so much for coming back and providing this opportunity to get all of you out here and to put some pressure on our senators to pass the SAVE Act. So we're going to start off with the right way here today, and Mark Nelson is going to come up and say the Pledge of Allegiance for us all.
Thank you, Julie. If you'd all rise and remove cover and join me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have a good slate of some local South Dakotans that are going to come up and address you and give you some perspective from Rapid City and this side of the state. Our first speaker is going to be our wonderful mayor, Jason Solomon.
Well, thank you all. First of all, Scott, on behalf of Rapid City, welcome to our great community. We are so glad that you are here, and everybody who's traveled around. So why am I here today? Well, first of all, Julie invited me, which was very nice. But two, I care deeply about this issue, and you should too. I support the Save America Act, and you should too, because if we, thank you, if we don't allow this, then we are suffering for many, many years to come. The fact of the matter is this: only citizens should vote in American elections. And what we also have to remember is that if someone who's not a citizen votes, it's canceling your vote and my vote. And that includes the whole country. Now in South Dakota, I feel pretty good that we have voter ID. I want the rest of the nation to have that as well. I think it's the bare minimum we should require. And it's not much to ask. Yeah, there's lots of things we could talk on the voter rolls, but so I only have 3 minutes, so I can't go into everything that on the voter rolls. But I want to say it's important because our elections are important. I can handle a loss if I lose an election, so long as it's fair and square. That's all we ask. Nothing more, nothing less. And here's my encouragement. My concern is, as a nation, sometimes we don't know what time it is. But the fact of the matter is, and forgive me, I'm a baseball fan, we are in late innings. And this is not the time to leave the bat on your shoulder. This is not the time to bunt your way to victory, so to speak. We have to swing for the fences. So my encouragement to the Senate, please swing for the fences. Even if you strike out, we know you went out doing the very best you can. And that's the encouragement. That's true for all of us. We have to be bold. Yes, we're going to be respectful. We're going to do things the right way. But what we are asking for today is for our representatives to swing for the fences. Do not bunt. I love Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth is a great player. Hit a lot of home runs. He struck out over 1,300 times. And that was in an era of small ball. But right now is not the time to play small ball. Right now is the time to swing for the fences. And even if you swing and miss, at least you went out swinging. And that's what we want to see. That's what time it is. And so thank you all for the opportunity to share with you today. You got a lot of folks here to speak. It's warm. I understand that. I love Rapid City. I love South Dakota. And I love the United States of America. And what an honor it is to be with you patriots here today. God bless you all.
All right. Thank you so much, Jason, for coming. We appreciate your presence here today. It speaks volumes. Thank you so much. And another special person we have here is the chair of our Republican Party, South Dakota GOP, Jim Eichenbaum. And he's going to come up and say a few words on behalf of the party.
Must be a way. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Scott, for traveling to South Dakota and putting these two rallies on at my request. I have preached this so many times as state chairman. America is built on law and order and voting. This is what we do. We can disagree. There's plenty of disagreement in the Republican Party. I see it all the time. But we make motions, we make nominations, we have civil discussion. That is key. Civil discussion, and then we vote. That is how we do things in America. The SAVE Act is about one citizen, one vote. Not everybody that gets handed a ballot. One citizen, one vote. This isn't racist. It's not about immigration. We have a policy for immigration. You become a citizen, you get to vote. Not everybody that gets handed a ballot gets to vote. Senator Thune has been working hard for us, and I want to thank him for that. I was on the phone this morning with my contact, President Trump. President Trump's message is he wants this passed, and Senator Thune needs to put his shoulder to the wheel and get it done. I'll close with that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. The Save America Act is important to the future of our country. Thank you.
I'm just gonna, well, it came out. Okay, thank you so much, Jim, for coming. We're happy to have you here. And thank you for that word from the president. That's incredible. That's good to hear. So our next speaker is Phil Jensen. He is a state legislator from this area, and he was a part of the South Dakota SAVE Act that we passed this just last session that ended about a week or 2 weeks ago. So he's going to come and just kind of go over some of the details of what he experienced in the legislature and what that bill, how it affects us here in South Dakota.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for attending here today. Fantastic group, great diversity. Love to have you guys here, and especially watching Scott day after day call out Senator Thune. It's just been amazing. Countdown, day 53, day 54, day 60. Fantastic. So proud of your effort. Now at the state level, we're fighting for voter integrity as well. I am also a chair of the South Dakota Freedom Caucus, and my vice chair, Senator John Carley, who is in Europe right now and can't be here, did a tremendous work on getting Senate Bill 175 passed. And what that bill does, it requires applicants to provide proof of citizenship, such as a passport or a birth certificate, to register to vote. Real simple. And the legislation allows state and county officials to challenge voter registration if they have evidence that a voter is not a citizen, and with provisions for canceling registration if documentation cannot be provided. So that's important. This legislation aims to have these provisions in place for upcoming midterm elections. That's why we had the emergency clause put on it, so it didn't wait till July 1st to go into effect like most of our bills. If it has an emergency clause, then it goes into effect immediately upon passage and the signature of the governor. Let's see. Last year we had Senate Bill 68, which Senator Carley also brought, and it passed unanimously. It required citizenship proof before voting, but it was based on the honor system. Now we all know about human nature, don't we?
For all have sinned.
For all have sinned, yes indeed. Okay, so we found that 273 non-U.S. citizens voted that coming election season. That's horrific. I mean, that shouldn't be, and that can cause the difference. That can be the difference in electing a good legislator or one not so good. Let's see. You know, if you have to have proof of citizenship, you've got to get a passport. You've got to have, to get a passport, to get Social Security card, to get certain health care options, you got to have proof of citizenship. And so, is this asking too much? No, it's not, is it? So if you have any other questions, these bills passed unanimously out of the state legislature, and I tell you, I couldn't, it's such a proud day to see those pass. It was incredible because we really need this. And again, I'm so proud that Scott Presler is actually doing this at the federal level where it really needs done as well. And let's give him a hand one more time. Thank you so much. Thank you. When's the governor going to sign it? If you want to call the governor's office and encourage him, that would be wonderful.
Okay. Now, we do have a candidate that is running for the House, and his name is James Bialotta. He's going to come up and just say a few words to us about his support of the Save America Act.
Well, folks, thank you very much for having me today. Thank you, Scott Presler. Thank you for all the legislators that have been hard at work fighting this at the state issue. And I'm running for U.S. House to make sure it happens at the federal issue. If it doesn't happen this year, if I'm elected, I will absolutely make sure it passes next year. What we've been doing right now is fighting voter fraud nationwide. And why this matters is because we need your vote to count, not to be zeroed out by a non-citizen. So, what have I been doing? The difference between a candidate and a politician, or a good candidate and a politician, is who's actually doing something versus saying something. I've already gone to John Thune's office, asked them to pass the Save America Act. I was almost huddled and rushed out of there. They did not want to hear it a few weeks ago. And I think that's changed. I think John Thune has heard the word of the people, and that 80% of this country wants this passed. Am I wrong? So, what can we do for South Dakota? I want everybody here today, we have pens and papers to write Senator Thune to pass the Save America Act. I want you to do that today. The other thing I want you to do is get involved yourselves personally. And what I mean by that is through my own investigations, I verified 1,555 people are registered to vote at a grocery store in Box Elder, right here in Pennington County, South Dakota. In my personal investigations, I looked up where the addresses were mailed to, and wouldn't you know it, that their property is owner-occupied out of state, and some of the locations were outside the U.S. This needs to be investigated. This is the #1 reason we need to pass the Save America Act. Are you with me? Yeah. God bless you all. God bless South Dakota. And let's keep up the fight. Thank you very much.
Okay. Do I have any married ladies in the house? Ladies, when it comes to doing tough things, we can do tough things, can't we? We can figure out how to raise our kids, put food on the table. We can figure out how to get on an airplane flight. We can figure out how to renew our driver's licenses, and we learn. We know how to vote. Don't we? All right, so when you hear Amy Klobuchar get up on the Senate floor and she says that women will not be able to vote, she says that you all will lose your right to vote and then you have to go and re-register, which is not true. You don't. So if your name is different on your marriage certificate, from your birth certificate, all you have to do is sign an affidavit and just attest that I am this person and you are good to go. So I don't think that we should talk down to women. I don't think we should tell women that they're not capable of doing something as easy as that, because we've done much harder things and we will continue to do so. So if you are going to get out there and check your voter registration and make sure you're registered Republican, and also make sure that your name is in there. One thing I want to also mention is if you change your driver's license in South Dakota or renew your driver's license, if you check your voter registration within about a month or even a couple weeks, make sure they don't switch you from the party that you want to be affiliated with to a different party, because it is very easy for them to move you from Republican to unaffiliated. So check your voter portal. So I have set up around, there's papers on the stations and at the front desk. There's a QR code and also the website for the South Dakota VIP voter registration portal. You can go there anytime, check your information, make sure it's correct. You can order a ballot if you need a ballot. You can find out where and when you need to vote. It's a very resourceful source that we have through the South Dakota SOS office. So if you just take a click in the QR code and save that, because you need to go back to it on a regular basis and look, are we having a special election? Sometimes they spring these special elections up on you and you have no idea that you have a vote even happening in your area. So I recommend you check it very often. So that's a resource for you guys. And if you have any questions, I'm here. I'm in Blackhawk. I have a group on Facebook that all of us conservatives get together. We share information about what is going on throughout the state, on both sides of the state, and we're happy to have you, and you can join us. It's South Dakota Grassroots Conservative Republicans. I know it's kind of a longer name, but South Dakota Grassroots Conservative Republicans, and it's on Facebook. And please come and join us. We feature a lot of the legislatures that are running, that have a campaign going on. So if you want to know, who do I vote for? Pop in there and put in a chat, say, who do you like in this race? Who do you like? And we have legislators that will pop in and talk to you and chat with you and give you resources, and you can help work for them. So if you need any more information on that, just hit me up. I'll write it down for you so you can find us. Now I just want to have Scott's going to come up again, and he is going to continue with his mission to save America. Oh, you got it.
Okay, and actually, Mr. Jaden, can you film this, please? Because we're going to bust some myths about the Save America Act. Okay, so some opponents of the bill like to say that this is going to disenfranchise millions of people, and that was Senator Chuck Schumer who said that. But I want to be very clear. When Chuck Schumer says it's going to disenfranchise millions of people, he said the quiet part out loud. He didn't say American citizens. He didn't say legal, lawful Americans. He said people very specifically. So let's get into it for a second. Why is the Save America Act called the Save America Act? Because it's going to employ what's called the SAVE system. Does anybody know what that stands for? It's the Systematic Alien Verification for Entitlements. Did you know that? And what will happen is nobody that is currently registered to vote will have to re-register. If anybody tells you that, that is phony baloney, that is propaganda, that is fear corn coming from the Democrat Party to try to scare people. No, what it does is any legal, lawful Social Security number will go through the SAVE system. And so long as a registered voter has a legal, lawful SSN number, they will stay on the voter rolls. I want to be clear. The only people that are going to be disenfranchised by the Save America Act are illegal aliens, dead voters, and anyone that wants to commit fraud within our election system. Those are the only people. So when 186 Democrats vote against a piece of legislation that would deport illegal aliens committing fraud by accepting government-funded benefits, what else can we, the American people, logically deduce from the Democrat Party if they are unwilling to deport people that not only came into our country illegally, but then are defrauding the American people that could go to struggling American citizens? So I'm going to say it vocally, I'm going to say it overtly. The Democrat Party wants illegal aliens and non-citizens to vote in our elections. That is why. And I want to know, with all due respect, I love Daddy Trump. I love our president. But Mayorkas, our former Department of Homeland Security Secretary, should not be a free man right now. He should be locked up in federal prison. How many beautiful, well, you're all beautiful. How many married women do we have in the audience? So I want to hear, no, you tell me, now get this, Jaden, get this. Ladies, you know what's funny? Remember when Hillary Clinton, back in bless her heart, do you remember when Hillary Clinton said, men tell women how to vote? Ladies, what happened the last time a man told you to do something? It probably the opposite happened, right? As a fellow Taurus, I understand that. No one is going to tell women what they can and cannot do. And in fact, when I talk to husbands, they'll be the first to tell me, my wife is smarter than I am. And my wife likely knows where the marriage certificate is, birth certificate is, passport is, deed to the house. The woman knows how to run, operate, knows where all their certificates are. So I want to hear, ladies, is there anything under the Save America Act that is going to stop, prohibit, bar, inhibit you from voting in the upcoming November election? I heard, and there's a wonderful baby here, but I did hear a hell no from the... So, just wanted to bust any of these myths. If a married woman shows up and her name, for whatever reason, does not match her birth certificate, no one is going to be turned away. No one is going to be turned away. They can do an attestation. They can sign an affidavit under penalty of perjury that they are who they say they are. So again, anyone that's going to try to give you propaganda that this is anti-woman, no. I believe the messaging from the Democrats saying that women are incapable, unable to get voter ID or vote, that is misogynistic and that is offensive to women. So I need your help. How many, let's play a little game. And I'm not gonna be mad, but I want you to be honest. How many of my beautiful South Dakotans in the last month have voiced their concern about the Save America Act to Senator John Thune's office? The excellent, this people over here. I need you guys. Not even you, Julie? Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. Well, she put it down real quickly. I'm just teasing you. So, can I get a commitment from you? I've traveled thousands of miles to be here with you, and I'm on Capitol Hill every single week trying to get this legislation passed. Will you let Senate Majority, let me do a direct to camera. Senate Majority Leader Thune, we in 2024, the American people duly elected a completely Republican government. We gave you the House. We gave you the Senate. We gave you the role that you are in right now as Majority Leader. And we have President Donald J. Trump as the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America. We handed everything to you on a golden platter to give you the ability to legislate and to govern on behalf of us. We thank you for the One Big Beautiful Bill. We thank you for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. We thank you for helping to secure the border. However, I must make it clear, if you only run on tax cuts and if you only run on the One Big Beautiful Bill, you will likely lose the majority that you have in the Senate, and we will likely lose the majority that we have in the House. The American people, the forgotten men and women of America, we are tired of our votes being diluted by fraudulent ones. We are tired. We are tired of illegal aliens stealing the voices of lawful, law-abiding Americans, that it is our right to vote in elections. And I tell you, from a place of deep concern and love for country, the single most important issue that we in all 50 states care about is we want election integrity to make sure that our elections are safe and secure and that only citizens can vote in our elections. Senate Majority Leader Thune, I am cognizant of the fact that anyone in a political office, you probably are concerned with legacy and how history is going to remember you. And so I'd like to make a pitch to you, kind sir. This is your opportunity. We can either not move forward with the Save America Act. We could not have courageous, bold leadership. You could not move forth with the talking filibuster and ultimately lose overwhelmingly this November. Or you can be a voice for the people of South Dakota that elected you into that Senate seat. You could be a voice. You could be a voice for tens of millions of Americans that are relying on you to keep the promises that you campaigned on in 2024. And your reward is you will forever be remembered as the Senate Majority Leader that was responsible for the most comprehensive piece of election integrity legislation in American history. Now is the time that you are called to act, and sir, we ask for bold, courageous, unabashed, unapologetic leadership. Now is that time, and the people of South Dakota demand the Save America Act is put on President Trump's desk to be signed into law. Game on. And Senator Thune, I'm not getting a dime to be here. Respectfully and peacefully, I am not a paid influencer. See you soon in Capitol Hill. Okay. Q&A. I'm happy to do a couple Qs. And then also, by the way, I'm not leaving until I shake every single gosh darn hand. So you don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. I will take every picture, every video, even with any Democrats. I will take a picture with a Democrat, yes.
Scott, thanks for being here. My name is Janine.
Hi, Janine.
And I'm of the opinion that a lot of illegals have Social Security numbers. Is that not correct?
That is correct, that Joe Biden's administration did give some SSN numbers. So if I am intuitive and I'm thinking of your question already, I've already had this conversation with Senator Mike Lee, and I said to him, Senator, this is a question I'm getting from the American people. If illegal aliens have SSNs, how do we know that they're not going to be able to slip through? And he was able to tell me that no, it is only the ones that are given to lawful American actual citizens that are going to be able to stay on the voter roll. So that is already under consideration, I promise you. Was I intuitive? I got it? Okay. But no, I talked to, and just so you know, Senator Mike Lee, I'll be real with you, he is one of the best senators in the entire United States. He, at midnight, every single night, has been doing X Spaces with us, the American people. And he needs support because some of the other of his colleagues aren't happy with how much attention he's getting. I need you to follow him, repost him, like him, give him support. Senator Mike Lee out of Utah, he is a star.
I have a question about the real ID. I mean, to fly, you're going to have it in May, I think it is. So won't that be?
I will tell you that the gold star, the real ID, that can be your photo voter ID when you vote. So to anyone who is saying that you have to bring your birth certificate to vote, again, no, that's phony baloney. That's only going to apply if you're a new voter, a voter that is registering for the first time or has moved, then you bring your documents with you. But the real ID, that's your photo voter ID, and you can use that to vote.
Yeah, but they're going to be requiring it, so there you go.
See? That if they're already requiring it, then people are already going to have their ID. So
Yeah,
it's a
and
great point.
I think it is, you have to pay an extra $45 if you don't have it. Oh, I thought it was May.
Thank you. I saw another hand. Yeah. Julie.
Yes.
Not Jody, Julie, because there are two of them. There are two of them.
Just for the record, I did call Senator Thune's office a couple of weeks ago. They didn't even take my name when I asked them to support it, and I thought they usually did so they could send you a pre-done letter. What are you going to do about the HAVA Act?
No.
The HAVA Act is something I tried to fight when I was in the legislature. It's Help America Vote Act, and it's where you can go into the auditor's office without not one bit of information on who you are, but yet it's important enough you want a voter's registration. And they said that in the HAVA Act, because it's federal, that you absolutely have to let them register to vote with not one shred of evidence who they are, and as long as they don't get the mail back, you're a registered voter.
So is this turning into a question?
Yes, so can we, yeah, so what can we do with the HAVA Act? Will this negate that
This negates
totally?
HAVA. So basically, if HAVA is saying no proof of citizenship and photo voter ID, this is reforming the NVRA. And not only that, but remember how I talked about vouching earlier in Minnesota, where one registered voter can vouch for up to 8 people without photo voter ID? Any state things or federal things that are currently in law, this is going to supersede that. So yeah, this will require proof of citizenship, which Arizona, the great state 48, just won their Supreme Court case, and they're allowed to require proof of citizenship in order to vote in their elections. Sorry, and just make sure they're beautiful questions as well. Did you have one, baby?
Scott, one
sorry.
quick. How heavily involved will the Department of Homeland Security be in enforcing the Save America Act?
Well, the DHS is the one responsible for the SAVE system. So they are going to be the ones who are making sure the SN numbers, anyone that is not a legal lawful citizen, is stricken off of the voter rolls. So I can't speak on behalf of the department, but the fact is the DOJ is suing for the voter rolls. And I believe that the DOJ's top priority is making sure that we have clean voter rolls of only American citizens.
We'll never get them refunded now.
I'm so sorry.
I said we'll never get DHS
Well,
refunded
notice,
now.
why do you think the Democrats are doing this? And I want to be clear for a second. Let's have real talk for one moment. I want to be adjacent. Right now, what happened in the last month, my friends? We had 4 radical Islamic terror attacks on our homeland while the Democrat Party defunded the Department of Homeland Security. I want to be clear. These Democrats, and pick a fight with me if you want to, but I'm going to say it. They have blood on their hands for any American that is hurt while they have defunded the very levers of power that are responsible for protecting us. And shame on every single Democrat. Shame on the Democrat Party. This is serious. This is a matter of life and death. And I hope to the person at the back that is filming this, you send this to George Soros or whoever, your friends, and let them know that we're not going to stop fighting for our country peacefully. And the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans is we fight with ballots, not bullets, like they do. So what I need your help with is let them know they're supposed to go on recess March 30th. Did you know that? The Senate is supposed to go enjoy a paid vacation and go home from the 30th through April 10th. Why, when thousands of TSA agents can't even get Easter baskets for their families, are the senators going to take a paid vacation? So tell your senators, no, you stay in Washington, D.C. until the Department of Homeland Security is fully funded and the Save America Act is signed into law. Will you guys do that? Peacefully. Peacefully.
Get your work done and then enjoy your vacation.
I'd like to lead you, if you don't already know about it, constitutionalalliance.org has been involved with the Real ID Act since its start in 2005. They posted a letter from the Department of Homeland Security in December of 25 that has a false security that the Real ID Act does not necessarily prove citizenship. So please follow that if you would. If you have any comments to it, Mark Lerner is a friend of ours we've talked about on the phone many years, gave her a badge of honor back in 2020 as a legislator. But Mark says the only way to prove citizenship is birthing documents. So please follow that through, and there may have to be...
The Real ID is not proof of citizenship.
Thank you.
Yes, and just make sure, give me a question as well. No, the Real ID is not proof of citizenship. That can be your photo voter ID, but you need to prove your country of origin. I want to be very clear on that. Thank you.
So kind of on the same page as Julie, back in 2020, after the insane election that we had, I joined South Dakota Canvassing and found 60 registered voters at a storage facility. So I, like you guys say, write a letter to Thune. I hand wrote a letter to Thune, and he hand typed a letter back to me, calling me a conspiracy theorist, and told me that election fraud is not real. And I've basically been targeted ever since.
Well, I'm sorry that's happening. Just make sure it's a question. That's what I want, baby. That's what I want. Well, number one, I want to edify you and anyone who knows that illegal fraud is happening in our election. You are not a conspiracy theorist. You are correct. So let's get into it. And, hey, I hope you framed that letter. He wrote you back.
I got it in a filing cabinet.
He wrote you back. He didn't even answer Julie's call.
When you write him.
Bless his heart. Okay, so let's get into it. So, I live in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Oh, it feels so much better now, doesn't it, in here? We have an illegal alien that was just indicted and arrested. His name is Mahadi Sacco. I want you guys to fact check me. Everything I've said today, fact check. Every single thing I've said, because I actually know my stuff. I know where I am. I'm not Joe Biden. So, Mahadi Sacco registered to vote in 2005. He's an illegal alien. He has voted in the last 5 presidential elections. How does that happen? How does that happen that for 2... And thank you for coming, baby. Okay, wait, before she leaves. Thank you for coming. Good. I didn't want you to go before I said hi. I just said before you left, I wanted to say thank you for coming.
Happy to be able to be here. Didn't hear about it till 2029.
Well, thank you very, very much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So he voted in the last 5 presidential elections. If Senator Thune, there's no fraud, how does it happen that an illegal alien is registered for 2 decades and able to vote in person? Because you know what that means? In Pennsylvania, we don't have photo voter ID. So that case alone shows we need the proof of citizenship and photo voter ID component right there. Now, let's get into the great state 48, Arizona. The most populous county is Maricopa County. The recorder over there is named Stephen Heap. Stephen Heap found out that, Justin Heap found out that illegal aliens are receiving jury notices. Illegal aliens are going to be our jurors to tell us whether or not we committed crime, which, by the way, is illegal. And then he found out these people are registered to vote, illegal aliens, and voting in our elections. So that's 2 states now. Now, let's get into Macomb County, Michigan. Macomb County also found out that jurors were receiving the illegal aliens juror notices who were also registered to vote and voting. So now I'm here to tell you that is not a conspiracy. We have illegal, alien, fraudulent voting happening in our country, and we the people demand the Save America Act. Question.
Thank you, Scott. So right now we're talking about this, and I want to know, can we get your support to tweak the Real ID Act? I talked to Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota. He agreed. There is no proof of citizenship on our Real IDs. And I think I would like to hear if you would like to support us in that effort after we're done with this.
Right now, my full 100% support with no distraction is the Save America Act. I remain open to discussing other legislation after we first focus on the Save America Act.
Thank you very much, sir.
And I say that peacefully and kindly, but I want you to know, when I am fine-tuned on something, I am like a dog on a frickin' bone. I am not letting this go, and I promise you, once we pass this legislation, other dominoes will fall too, because they know that we will be unstoppable in moving forward. So let's talk after we get the Save America Act signed into law by President Trump, okay? Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, what is happening right now is a resurgence, a revolution. I believe, some might even say, with all due respect, and I say this as kindly as possible, maybe it might even be the Tea Party 2.0. As soon as I saw her walk in, we have to stop everything. And remember this morning how when we were on Facts and you were giving ruckus, high energy, applause, and excitement. I want that same respect. I want that same level of rapid city excitement for the chair of Tea Party Patriots, Jenny Beth Martin.
Thank you so much, Scott, and I appreciate you organizing this and allowing Tea Party Patriots Action to be a part of it and to help with the event. We are so glad to be here, and we are so glad that all of you are here working to support the Save America Act. I have been working on this legislation with Cleta Mitchell and Senator Mike Lee since January of 2024. And I'd like to give you a little bit of history about how we got to where we are right now today, and then what we need to be doing going forward as we continue to push this legislation. So we were in a meeting, Cleta and Senator Lee and I, and Cleta was talking about all these problems in the state of Arizona. And I'm not sure if Scott mentioned those to you, so if he did, you're hearing a little bit of it again. But in the state of Arizona, a border state, they require proof of citizenship to register to vote. Makes sense. They're in a border state. They want to make sure the people voting are citizens. Well, they got sued for this. And the suit went all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court ultimately ruled that they had to accept the motor voter form, which is a form where you check that you are a citizen, but it does not require proof of citizenship to register to vote. And they had to do this because federal law is the supreme law of the land, and so it superseded their state law. So they still can accept proof of citizenship for state and local elections, but they cannot be required to accept it for federal elections. So what this means in practicality in Arizona, which is a swing state and a border state, they have two kinds of ballots. They have the ballot that if you have shown you are a citizen and proven your citizenship, it has president, Senate, Congress, governor, lieutenant governor, and on down all the way to their lowest office, city council member, school board, whatever their lowest office is. If, however, you did not show proof of citizenship, you still can get a ballot and you get to vote for President, Senate, and Congress. And that affects all of us, right? Especially when it's a state that is a swing state for the presidential election. So Cleta's talking about it, and Senator Lee hears it, and I'm texting with him, and I just said, we have to get this fixed. We have to get this fixed before the 2024 election. Like, this is a big deal. And not only that, all states who want to, any state that requires proof of citizenship to register. We were in Alabama last summer, and the legislators there were very proud of the fact that they've passed proof of citizenship in Alabama, and I'm proud of that too, and I'm very glad they've done that. Doesn't matter because the supreme law of the land still says they have to accept the motor voter form. So, I mean, it does matter for their state and local elections, absolutely, but they still have to accept this form. So, we started working on what became the Save America Act, and we got Congressman Chip Roy involved, and we got Speaker Mike Johnson involved. That was amazing. We got the Speaker of the House working with the House Freedom Caucus, and they did a press conference together rolling out a bill. The leadership in the House Freedom Caucus don't normally work together, but this is such a big deal and such a unifying deal that they were willing to do this. We did polling on it. We found that 84% of Americans agree only American citizens should vote in American elections for president, Senate, and Congress. It is common sense. We've done 2 more polls on it. 83% still agree with that. It hasn't changed in 2 years. And so we are working very hard to get this passed. So it went through, it passed in the first Congress, or the last Congress, through the House. And the one that passed is what passed most recently, which is proof of citizenship being required to register to vote. Then they've done it again. They passed it again this Congress, proof of citizenship to register to vote. Then they came back and did it again, and they added voter ID. So that's what most recently passed. It's passed 3 times. The one that passed in the House most recently, you probably know this, but I'm going to give you a little bit of technical information because this is important to help prepare you for your call to action with Senator Thune. So they, the Senate passed a bill that was a bill about something to do with veterans. It went over to the House. The House completely replaced it with an amendment. And that amendment was the SAVE Act. And they passed it and they sent it back to the Senate. And because they sent it back to the Senate in this manner and it had originated in the Senate, it was called a message. That, because it is a message, that is how we were able to get on the bill and begin debate on this bill with a simple majority of 51 votes. Under normal circumstances, you have to have a cloture vote to bring it to the floor. So you have to have 60 votes to get it to the floor to open debate. Then you have to have 60 votes to end debate. But with this bill, because of the way it was passed and it being a message, it was able to get in with only 51 votes. Now, about 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, we honestly thought that Senator Thune was going to do something where it would require 60 votes to begin debating. And we were really upset about that. But he did not. This past week, what he did is he opened debate on this bill with 51 votes. And what Scott and I have been asking for weeks is get the bill to the Senate floor for debate. That is what we want to get the bill to the floor for debate and then pass it on final passage. And so he has done the first part and he's gotten it to the floor. And what we're seeing right now are debates that are happening on the bill. And that began on, Tuesday night? So it went Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. I think they ended around 6 o'clock yesterday. The way that it is working in the Senate right now means that they are able to adjourn and leave. So remember how we heard online a lot of talk about talking filibusters? This is not what we were being told was a talking filibuster. And there are some technical reasons that I don't even understand completely that have to do with something the parliamentarian ruled on that made that not be a practical solution for us. So what is happening right now, though, is this debate. And the debate can go on as long as the Republicans keep it going on, which means we need Leader Thune to lead the Republicans and keep the debate going. Now, they are able to essentially pause the debate, and when they pause it, they can go to the nomination for the DHS secretary. So they're able to pause it and go to the nomination for the DHS secretary. They can also pause it and still be able to potentially vote on DHS funding and then still come back to this bill. So I suspect that Mullen will be confirmed early next week. Don't be alarmed if that happens and think they're no longer working on the Save America Act. They're able to toggle between the nomination and this legislation. And then they may well figure out a way to get the DHS funding done and still come back to this bill. I don't think we should be alarmed by that either. Then, when those two things are handled, we have to stay on this bill. They can't close it. So I respect everything that Leader Thune has done in the past week to get the bill open. And our job and our ask of you and the call to action of you here in South Dakota as his constituents is to call his office every single day, thank him, and tell him to keep this debate going. And what we want to happen in the meantime, we've heard Senator Thune say he needs 60 votes to get the bill passed because it's going to take 60 votes to close this debate. So what we need to have happening in the background is Republican senators and Democrat senators having conversations and figuring out how to negotiate. What is it that it would take to get you, Fetterman, to vote for this bill? And what can we do to get the bill to a position where you would vote for it? Or Dick Durbin from Illinois, or whoever it might be. And those kind of conversations need to happen if we are actually going to get to a point where we get 60 votes. So the other thing to do is to encourage negotiations between the senators to get to a point where they can pass the bill. What we're watching unfold on the Senate floor right now is actually legislating. It's what legislating is. It's what the Senate should have been doing for years. And they've stopped doing that, and they've just gotten into this process where they only bring something to the floor if they know they have all the votes lined up, and then they vote for it, and then they're done, and they don't really have real meaningful debate. So what we want is this real meaningful debate to continue. And then to legislate, sometimes that means negotiating. And we have the greatest deal maker of all times as our president, and he understands about negotiating and deal making. So I'm hopeful that the senators can figure that out as well. So our call to action is to keep them debating until they can get to 60 votes. I would love it. They're supposed to go on recess on Friday for 2 weeks. I want them to stay in even if they don't go, and not go on recess. Just stay in and keep working on this legislation. That's what I think you should be calling your senator and saying if you agree with that. I mean, we need, here, I was thinking about now, okay, so now I've kind of given you like the history and the background and the technical points, because for you to be an informed activist, you have to understand those technicalities a little bit. Okay, now I'm just going to tell you what I think about this stuff. I'm sitting there watching these senators, especially the Democrat senators, and I think they are the biggest bunch of hypocrites I've ever seen in my entire life. Let's start with the first most obvious thing. they claim to be for women, and they care about women. And they think women are too stupid to figure out how to show paperwork to get registered to vote, yet we're smart enough to get the paperwork shown to get a real ID and a driver's license. What in the world are they thinking? We're not too dumb. We know how to do it. We don't need them taking care of us. We know how to take care of ourselves, and we want secure elections. And we're willing to show our freaking paperwork to get secure elections. So that's number one. The second point that I started thinking about is the Democrat Party claims to care about saving democracy. Now, we live in a representative democracy, which is actually a republic, but let's just take their line, the democracy line. Okay, you want to save representative democracy? The way to do that is to ensure that the people who are elected have the consent of the governed. Now, how in the world can we be sure that we have the consent of the governed if we don't trust that our elections are secure and that only American citizens are voting to determine who will actually govern us? Utter hypocrisy on the part of the Democrats. All that we want is to make sure American citizens are voting in our elections. And then they will sit there and say, oh, it's disenfranchising voters, and they just lie. They flat out lie. This bill does not, if you are registered to vote today, and it passed tonight, you'd still be registered to vote tomorrow. It doesn't remove a single person from the rolls. No one. If you're registered, you're still registered. If you trigger a re-registration, which usually happens when you move, then you're going to have to show proof of citizenship. Well, guess what? When you move, you've got to change your real ID, which means you've got to show proof of citizenship anyway, because you have to show that to get a real ID. Now, as the gentleman a minute ago mentioned, real IDs also are given to non-citizens, so that is not proof alone. A real ID is not proof alone that you are a citizen. But the paperwork to get it as a citizen is the same paperwork that you would be showing to get to register to vote. And then they go, oh my goodness, the names are going to be sent to the Department of Homeland Security. I did not poll on this, but I should have. I should have just polled and said, how many of you think the federal government knows where you live? Because I would bet that like 100% of Americans would basically say, yeah, I think the federal government knows. So okay, the voter rolls have your name and your address and your birthday, maybe. Some may have your social security number. In the state of Georgia, they don't have your social security number tied to it. So they're sending your name and your address and your birthday up. Okay, the government has this, the IRS has this anyway. All that they are doing with that part is they're running it against a database of people who they know are non-citizens to check and see if there are any people who may not be a citizen who are registered. And if it is flagged that they may not be, then it's sent back to the states for further investigation before they are removed. So it's pretty simple stuff. And then they'll say something like, oh, an ID is so hard to provide. Okay, well, if you can't get one, the bill does make accommodations for that if you don't have an ID. It also makes accommodations if you can't show your proof of citizenship. Then they'll say that, but I'm just like, I just went through, I flew here this morning from DC because I've been meeting with senators all week. I had to show my ID to get in. When I get into the hotel tonight, I'm going to have to show my ID. If I want to have some adult beverages later today, I'd have to show my ID. I have to show my ID throughout the entire week. This isn't new. People do this. So they're insulting all Americans at that point because they are acting like we're all too dumb to figure out how to show an ID. Our anger needs to be directed at those people who claim to care about representative democracy, and they really don't. And we need to be doing all that we can to urge the people who live in states with Democrat senators to call those Democrat senators and ask, you say you care about democracy. Why are you not making sure that only American citizens vote in American elections and that the person who votes is who they say they are? And that is the question they need to be asking. And then they need to tell their senator, vote in favor of the Save America Act. So your job is to work on senators, the Republican senators, and then ask your friends and family who live in states with Democrat senators to get their Democrat senators to vote in favor of this. It is a no-brainer, indeed, indeed. I appreciate you guys so much. This is an amazing turnout. We have to get this bill passed. We just have to. And I know that with your help, not letting up, continuing to keep the pressure on, being affirmative to Senator Thune because he did do what we asked, so thanking him and then urging him to stay strong and to hold tight and to keep the debate open, we're going to be able to get the bill moved. So please continue to do that, and I appreciate everything you're doing. And then, our website for information on the bill is passthesaveamericaact.com. Passthesaveamericaact.com. And we have a section on that website that has all the myths, the lies that the Democrats are saying, and you can look at that and look at how to refute it. So if you're hearing that or seeing that on your social media feed and you want to be able to refute it, we've got it there. And if you can't get to that website for some reason, because it's a lot of words, you can just go to teapartypatriots.org, O-R-G, teapartypatriots.org, and click through from there. And I'm on social media at Jenny Beth M. Jenny Beth M. All right, and then that's what I have for my remarks. Does anyone have questions about what I said? I think I have time to do that. It looks like Scott's still out there. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, ma'am. I'll repeat it.
I've been trying to call Senator Thune's office, and in years past, he was elected back in 2004, and I remember that, and I was very hopeful about it, but to try and get him to listen, he used to send me a letter, but now there is a loop that you get on when you call his office, and you can't even leave a message. So do you happen to have a very good number so that we can call his office? Because so far, I'm getting nothing.
Okay, so what I want to know from you is this. Are you calling the D.C. office or are you calling offices here in the state?
I'm calling the D.C. office.
Okay, and then for who, the ones who said both, is it that same loop happening here locally? Okay. Okay, so you can leave a message. So I don't know if you're able to leave a message in DC. All right, then I would call the offices here in South Dakota and leave a message. The other thing that I would imagine, I should have done this and I did not. I did not look up where his offices are in the state. I would imagine he has one here in the city. Okay, if you can't get through, you could go into the office and talk. Now, I'm saying that, and you're a polite and respectful and a peaceful crowd. And you'll be lawful. So do all of that. Be respectful, and go into the office and talk. You're his constituent. You are allowed to do that, and just tell them what you're thinking and what you want. Remember, right now, he's done what we asked for. So we have to thank him for that. Now, that could change on Wednesday or Thursday. I don't have any insight that it's going to. I'm just saying it could change, and the message may change at that point. But he's doing what we asked for, so we thank him, and we ask him to get the bill passed. He's a leader. He can work on negotiating to try to get it passed. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
those states is the best way for me to describe it, because I know personally people who tried to serve on juries who were Americans that were serving on juries with people who couldn't even speak English well because they had a driver's license and they were registered.
Well, and you can get a driver's license. So she's asking what will happen in the states in the West Coast, especially, and I think she also probably means in the border states where people may not be English speaking. Okay, okay. And are getting driver's license. So we are focused right now on the Save America Act and not what happens necessarily at the Department of Motor Vehicles. What I do know when it comes to the Real ID, and many, maybe all states, but many states allow non-citizens to get a license. So you are allowed to get one if you're a non-citizen. I do not know if they require English to get a license, and I've had a few drivers, like with Uber, who I know don't speak English, so I would imagine they are not making that a requirement. But you can get it even as a non-citizen. If you're a permanent resident and you have the paperwork for it, you're able to get a Real ID. So that part is not going to change with this piece of legislation. What this piece of legislation is focused on is that when you register to vote, and the majority of people register to vote at the DMV, when you register to vote, you provide the proof of citizenship. I think there was a question over here, was there?
Yeah, she had said that, or you had suggested she go to Thune's office here in town. My husband and I, he's a Iraq War veteran. We went into Thune's office about a very serious matter prior to him becoming a felon, and the matter was not dealt with, and he was denied a trial, and now he's a felon, and so suggesting going into the office to talking to them, from experience, it did not make a difference.
All right, I hear what you're saying. And the thing that I can say is that it helps to talk to their employees as much as we can, peacefully, respectfully, politely, and lawfully. One other way you can communicate with them is by going to the website, and there'll be a contact us form. And you have to give your address for every member of Congress. You have to give your address, so they're only allowing constituents to fill those forms out, but you can do that and then send it. Basically, you're sending an email through their online form. So that is another way to communicate with them. The senators pay attention to these phone calls, and they pay attention to the emails that they get in the office visits. One of the senators from Colorado in the debate this week said that he'd had thousands of email or letters, so I imagine that means emails, against the bill. I don't know if he was being honest. I'm not sure, but that doesn't matter. The point is his office is telling him about the letters that they are getting and the comments that they are getting, and that gets conveyed to the senators. And it does make a difference. So if every one of you contacts them, and then you go home and get everyone in your household, and then you get like 5 friends to contact him, it's going to make a difference. And then contact him again tomorrow, and on Monday, and on Tuesday, because right now, this is a day-by-day fight, and so we have to just keep it going day by day.
So I have a quick question, a couple of questions. Of the Democratic Party, are there any specific individuals that we should be targeting that are leaning towards they want to support the SAVE Act, or are they just dead down the middle? I'm a Democrat, I won't.
So what we've seen so far in the debate since Tuesday, by Friday morning, we had seen this. They said that they are in favor of voter ID on the floor of the Senate. And Schumer said that they're in favor of voter ID. And they said that fraud is happening in our elections. They just keep downplaying it and saying it doesn't matter. My comment to that would be, I helped one of my friends on a local race She won her race by 4 votes. So when fraud happens, even at a small level, it may not matter on the Senate races, especially if you're from California. If it's just a teeny tiny little bit, it may not matter at all. But on a local race, it could be determinative. So hang on before you ask a follow-up. I'm going to answer more of what you were asking for. So who could you contact? The places to look for the names of the senators who I would recommend contacting on the Democrat side, and we need their own constituents contacting them, would be the ones who voted to reopen the government in October, November. That's why I mentioned Dick Durbin. He's one of them, even though he's from Illinois. Then look at the ones who are up for re-election, like John Ossoff from Georgia. That would be another place to look. And then Fetterman. Fetterman is the only one who I think is being honest about his objections. His objections are about the mail-in ballot portion. I didn't mention that part.
So that was going to be my follow-up question. So they agree with voter ID, but what part of it don't they agree on? I mean, honestly, the states could upend them and say, well, all 50 states at this point have real ID. It had to be done last year. So the states could get on board with this and say, okay, we're going to amend real ID, and we're going to require 2 stars on your driver's license if you're a citizen, and you're 1 star if you're not. This is not rocket science, people.
No, it's not rocket science, but here's the thing.
And I'm sorry.
The states, there are states in the country right now who already have voter ID.
But there's also
There are,
legal to ask for it.
okay, but there are states that have voter ID and there are states that don't. The states that don't have it are not going to make the change you just said. That's why we're working to get this done at the federal level. So I understand your frustration. It's not hard. And so what does that mean? It means that states like South Dakota and Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina and Florida can go in and make theirs even more secure. But when it comes to the presidential election or the balance of power in the United States Senate or the balance of power in Congress, which affects all of us as Americans because it determines who is going to be the Senate majority leader, because it determines who is the majority. So this affects all of us. I think we all have a stake in it. The states that don't do it right now, they're still not going to. And that is a problem. As far as the real arguments that are coming from them, they're not telling the truth, so no. But when it comes to voter ID, this is a really important point that I didn't make. So Senator Husted, I think I'm saying his name right, from Ohio, on Thursday night, because Schumer went out and said, we are for voter ID. Okay, you're for voter ID? So Husted came in and he said, all right, then I make a motion by unanimous consent that we pass this portion of the bill, which is only the voter ID portion. He broke it out into a standalone bill and said, I make a motion by unanimous consent that we pass it, which means as long as no one said no and objected, it would have passed. And the Democrats objected. So they say they're for it, but they're voting against it. Or they're preventing it from being able to be voted on. We need to keep highlighting that. That juxtaposition and that hypocrisy among the Democrats never would have been evident had we not done what we did this past week. Oh, okay.
How will the exit from the Senate of Mark Wayne Mullen affect this process?
I've forgotten to see how far he is in his term, but there'll either be a special election or the governor can appoint someone to fill the unexpired term. So I don't know which it's going to be in, because I've been so focused on the Save America Act, I haven't checked that, but it's going to be one of those two. And in Oklahoma, unless something goes really bad wrong, it would be a Republican who'd get reelected. It looks like Scott is ready to come back. Is that right? If not, I can keep taking questions if you want me to. Okay, one more question, and we'll go over here. Oh, sorry, I should have looked that way, I guess.
So they had mentioned contacting Democrats. What about the Republicans that are on the fence?
Yep.
Murkowski, Paul,
No,
Collins.
so here are the ones that are on the fence for this bill: Murkowski and Tillis, and maybe McConnell. But McConnell voted to get it to debate. Okay, so you give people the carrots when they do the right thing, and it got us to this point. So that is good. Murkowski's being honest. I watched her debate on Thursday night, and I urge you to go back and watch her debate from Thursday night, and or her floor speech on Thursday night. She got up and explained the geography of Alaska and how difficult it is, especially when they're snowed in. And I've been to Alaska. I know that she's telling the truth. I mean, like, there's some places where they get around by dog sled in the winter. So she's saying that making someone go in person would be very difficult for them. So I reached out to Senator Lee with some suggestions. He went and talked to her, I believe, and at least they're having a conversation now. I don't know what that means, and it might mean we have to make some changes to the bill to accommodate Alaska. Okay, that's legislating, that's negotiating, and the fact of the matter is Alaska is completely different than most of the other states. So if we have to figure out how to make this bill work for Alaska, that's what we should be doing. So, and that's the kind of thing we should be talking about with each of them. And I want the Democrat senators to be debating in good faith instead of lying on the floor of the Senate. And then it looks like one more over here.
Yes, what effect will the SAVE Act have on counting illegals for representation purposes?
This does not affect, so he asked, in case you didn't hear, what effect does it have on counting non-citizens for representation purposes? It does not have any effect on that. It is very narrowly focused. It is focused on proof of citizenship to register to vote, cleaning up the voter rolls through DHS, voter ID, and then there's a mail-in ballot portion that has been added. Also, there are two other portions which I didn't mention. I'm not sure if Scott did or didn't, but no men and women's sports and no transgender surgery on minors. You can think of those three planks as Save American Voters, Save American Sports, and Save American Children. And Jeff, should I keep going?
If you guys got any plans for any states that are like purplish to go and get more support that you think are teetering where it's going to really help. And the other part of my question is there any way to ask, I just found out about this recently, that I don't think this is helping the cause over here in South Dakota for Republicans like myself, but I'm just curious that it came to my attention that in order to get residency here, you just have to spend one night and turn in a receipt from that one night and attempt to apply for a license. Not get a license, but attempt. If anyone's thinking no one's using that to their advantage on the other side, I can tell you that is unbelievable. And I looked into it, and this is like the only state that does that. I mean, even in Nebraska, you have to be there at least 6 months. I just want to know if Senator Thune, is all about keeping everything red, Republican, if he knows about that.
All right, I don't know whether the senator knows about that or not. That is a state election issue. So what I recommend is, and you probably have a group of people working on election integrity issues in your state somewhere already. I say that, and normally someone goes, I am. So, okay, so this lady back there in the white, so I would recommend connecting with her, because that's something that it sounds like you need to adjust from the state level. Wisconsin is really easy to register to vote as well. Some states it's that way, and others are. Oh, and this woman, And this lady says it's 30 days, not 1 day. So it's on the voter registration form. So that makes it a little better. That's good. You never know what you're seeing online, so you always have to go and research. Okay. Okay. Oh, the other Republican states, is that what? Oh, purple states. At the moment, we don't have another rally plan, but it is something we may be willing to do. We're getting through this, and we had to get the bill on the floor. We got the bill on the floor, and now we're moving to the next thing.
And we're going to Alaska. We're going to Kentucky. We're going to Pennsylvania, Michigan, Nevada.
I'll go with you. I'll go with you. And that'll be great. I'll go with you.
Thank you.
Because it's very important that we're explaining what's going on and why we have to get this done. It looks like Scott is ready. One thing that I didn't answer completely when you were asking about other Republican senators, if you've got friends, so I said what to do here and what to do if you have friends who are with Democrat senators. If you have friends who have Republican senators, urge them to give the same message you're giving to Senator Thune. We need them to stay on this bill and thank them for being on it. And then when it comes to Tillis and McCarthy, McConnell, not McCarthy, McConnell, we're doing everything that we can with them as well, but that's probably going to take senators talking to senators more than, because they're not up for re-election. All right, it looks like Scott is ready again. Thank you so much, Scott. This has been so amazing. This is a great group of people.
And please, can we give another round of applause for Chair of the Tea Party Patriots, Jenny Beth Martin, who, by the way, did you guys see when Speaker Mike Johnson, who, by the way, is chairing one of the slimmest majorities in American history in the House of Representatives, did you see there was not only long hair at the podium with Speaker Mike Johnson, but Jenny Beth Martin was there on the passage of the Save America Act? How cool.
And so were you. We both were there. Because we've both been working on election integrity nonstop since 2020. We understand this has to get done.
So, did you guys see value in us coming to Rapid City, South Dakota? And I want you to know that while you've been sitting here in one of the hottest hot boxes in human history, all of your videos from this morning are all over Fox News, are all already viral. So you guys coming today made a difference. You guys coming today made a difference. So what I'd like to do now is the show, if that's okay. We're going to end the show now, and thank you to all of our speakers. And also, can we thank Chairman Jim of the Republican Party of South Dakota? Thank you. I really want to, if we can save that, Chairman. But in all honesty, when I called Jim, it was without hesitation. I said, Chairman, I'm respecting the pecking order. I want to come to your state to put peaceful pressure on Senator Thune. I'll tell you, he did not miss a beat. Scott, you are welcome in my state whenever you want. He welcomed us with open arms, open hearts. And Deb, this one. So she created one of the best South Dakota GOP websites ever for all 50 states. South Dakota's the best. And she did the press release for our events. So thank you. Now, to end, here's what I'd really like to do. I want these clips to go viral everywhere. To those who are open to it, come get a picture with Jenny at the end. And now that we're ending, come get a picture with me. But I'd like to get clips for anyone who's open to it. Hold up this, and individually, I want to get each of you individually Senator Thune, I am not a paid influencer. Or if you're a married woman, I'm a married woman for the Save America Act. So just tell me, Scott, I want to be in one of your clips and we'll film you. But from the bottom of my heart, I promise you, I just found out recently my dad's doing genealogy. He's retired, so he's driving my mom crazy. And we found out that I'm actually a son of the Revolution. And I found out my relatives come to be were in the Pennsylvania militia. And so I'm doing my part. It's in my blood. And all of you guys are doing your part. And what is more historic than the 250th anniversary of our country that we can sign the Save America Act and get it passed into law. So thank you, Rapid City. Thank you, South Dakota. Thank you, Jenny Beth Martin. Thank you, Julie Korth. Thank you, Chairman Jim. And thank you, Senator Thune. USA! 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 Bigger, babes, bigger! USA! USA!
U.S.
Cut. Okay, come see Jenny. Come get a photo.
The reason I asked about Oregon is I know that a large percentage of illegals large percentage of illegals are voting.
Oh,
there.
yes. Well, that's why we're trying to get this passed. That is exactly
like my
right.
friend was shocked. She said,
Right.
"I didn't even know English."
That's right.
And she's on the jury.
Test.
Still on the PA.
It must be the wrong. I'll turn it. It's the wrong mic.
I love that sometimes I look at something, I go, "Oh, I'm not going there yet."
It's the wrong mic.
Just be a resident.
So turn it on. Turn it on.
I am trying.
Let your fingers out. And you guys push the red button.
Oh, the red one.
If you're a resident, though, you can vote, right?